I thought I was alone until he walked in. My stepson in the shower. What happened next is something I've been hiding for years. You won't believe how quickly a single moment can cross every line I thought I had. I still remember the sound of the water echoing off the bathroom walls, the steam curling around me like a blanket. It was supposed to be my moment of peace, my escape from the weight of the world outside that door. But peace doesn't last long in a house filled with secrets. My husband had been away on yet another business trip, and the silence of the house was something I had grown used to. What I hadn't expected, though, was the presence of someone else, someone who wasn't supposed to cross that line with me. My stepson. That night, as the water poured over me, I had no idea how quickly the fragile boundaries between us would shatter. I didn't hear the door creak open at first. The rush of the water drowned out everything, and for a few blissful seconds, I thought I was still alone. But then I felt it. That subtle shift in the air, the unmistakable awareness that someone else was in the room. I turned, startled, clutching the towel against my chest. And there he was, my stepson, frozen in the doorway. His eyes wide, his breath caught as though he'd walked into something he couldn't explain. "God, what are you doing?" I snapped, my voice a mix of anger and panic. But beneath the panic was something else, something I didn't want to name. He stammered, apologizing, insisting he hadn't meant to intrude, that he thought the bathroom was empty. But the way he looked at me, it didn't match his words. For a moment, neither of us moved. Just the sound of the shower filling the silence between us. A silence far more dangerous than anything spoken. My hands gripped the towel tighter, heart hammering against my ribs. I should have shouted again, told him to get out, slammed the door shut, but I didn't. Something in the way his eyes lingered made my throat tighten, my body betray me with stillness. "I'm sorry," he whispered again, though his feet didn't move. His voice was low, uneven, almost trembling. I should have forced him to leave. That was the right thing to do. But instead, I found myself frozen, caught in the weight of his gaze. The steam swirled around us, wrapping the moment in something unreal, something forbidden. The water pounded against my skin, but all I could feel was the tension in the air, the pull of a silence that was growing louder by the second. And then he said it, words that should never have been spoken. "You don't have to cover up. It's just me." My breath caught, my body weakening under the weight of a choice I knew I shouldn't even be considering. The words hung in the air like a spark in dry wood, dangerous, ready to ignite. My chest rose and fell in uneven breaths, the towel still clutched desperately against me, though part of me wondered if it even mattered anymore. He took one slow step into the bathroom, his eyes never leaving mine. I should have screamed, should have pushed him out, but instead, I stayed rooted in place, trembling not from fear, but from something far more dangerous. "Please go," I whispered, but my voice lacked strength, my plea sounding more like hesitation than demand. His hand brushed against the doorframe, knuckles white as though he was holding himself back. But his eyes betrayed him, hungry, conflicted, full of something he was trying and failing to contain. The steam made everything feel dreamlike, unreal, and yet every heartbeat inside me screamed that it was very real. Too real. And then he said softly, almost begging, "Just don't stop me." My silence became the answer I could never take back. Time seemed to slow, each second stretching longer than it should. My breath was shallow, shaky, but I couldn't bring myself to move. My towel clung damp against my skin, but the heat I felt had nothing to do with the shower anymore. He stepped closer, careful, hesitant, as though giving me every chance to push him away. But I didn't. My silence pulled him nearer, until I could feel the warmth of his presence cutting through the steam. His hand lifted slightly, trembling, as though he was fighting with himself. Then it brushed against my arm, gentle, testing, waiting for rejection. I should have pulled away. I should have screamed. Instead, I let the towel slip just enough for his breath to catch. Our eyes locked, and in that silent exchange, the boundary we both knew was there shattered. The moment his hand lingered, a thrill I couldn't name surged through me. Every rational thought screamed to stop, to pull back, to run, but my body refused to listen. He leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "I just want to be close, just for a moment." I felt a wave of guilt crash through me. This was wrong, terribly, undeniably wrong. Yet there was something in the way he looked at me, in the softness mixed with daring in his eyes, that made me hesitate. My knees weakened, my hands trembled, and the towel, my only shield, felt suddenly inadequate. The steam, the sound of the water, the closeness of him, it all blurred the line between forbidden and temptation. And in that suspended moment, I realized I could either stop this before it began, or let it happen. The world felt like it had narrowed down to just the two of us, the sound of the water, the steam curling around us, the tension that had been building for minutes that felt like hours. Every instinct in me screamed to stop, to pull back, to reclaim the line I had already crossed. But it was too late. The moment had its own gravity, pulling me in, leaving me powerless against the storm of desire and guilt that flooded me. His touch, his whispered words, the closeness we had both been avoiding, it all collided in a moment I couldn't undo. When it was over, the silence returned, heavier than ever. My heart pounded, my body shook, and the weight of what we had done pressed down on me like an impossible secret. I still hear his whispers in my mind, and every time I close my eyes, I feel the echo of that night, the heat, the tension, the forbidden pull. I don't know if he regrets it, or if he pretends it never happened. But I know one thing, that night changed everything, and I will carry it with me forever. If you want to hear more shocking confessions and true stories that reveal what really happens behind closed doors, don't forget to subscribe to Broken Trust Diaries and hit the bell so you never miss a story.